we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit more now just generically about OmniPeak. One of the key things about it is multi-channel analysis, and I think we covered some of this last year, but it's really a key area, the ability to bring in data from multiple adapters at the same time, that I wanted to dive into that just a little bit. So one of the things that we've been doing, in addition to doing that, doing the AC captures while we were in here, is I have been capturing off WPDMZ, which some of you were more successful connecting to than others. Maybe nobody was successful in the end. It was a little hard to tell. I hope at least some of you got out on it, but I started collecting there, and I just happened to bring up our wireless Lan View. I could see a number of people ended up going for the make my own hotspot option, because I see them listed up here. But rather than going there first, let's start back in Compass again, which is always a great place to start. So what I did in this particular case, I'm using now some of the other adapters that are grouped on the back of my laptop, mostly 11N adapters, and I can actually go show you the captures, or show you the options that we're actually capturing on. I believe it's that one. So what I've done is I've configured this particular capture, which is running live, to capture on channel 2 and 40 high. So if there's any 40 megahertz traffic in N, we'll pick it up on channel 6 and on channel 10. Pick those channels because those are the 3 channels that WPDMZ runs on. And I did verify that earlier by doing a scan, but of course we know that anyway here. So that's what we're doing, and we can certainly see that in Compass in the channels view. So we come to our channels view, we see we have channel 2, channel 6, and then channel 10. Doesn't look like we have a lot of N traffic, but we have a little bit there on channel 6. So the N40 high right here, and again, nice thing about something like Compass is I can, if totals aren't really what I'm interested in, I can go get rid of my totals. But now I can do any sort of graphing that I want to do. If I want to see, what am I doing in terms of encrypted data, in terms of megabits per second, I can go see the amount of data, there's encrypted data in megabits per second. If I'm trying to see, just how much of my traffic is just beacons in general, I can go see that, right? And I'm using, it's a significant amount, of course, is beacons, because not everyone's very active on the network right now. We have other views in here as well. We can go to our nodes view. I'll get rid of the channels view for a minute, and now we can see a list of all the nodes that are on the network, and graph our nodes in terms of throughput, or graph our nodes maybe in terms of signal strength, get a feel for how far away or how close that particular node is. Total.
What are the colors on the text?
Purple and blue.
I'm sorry, what about the colors?
What are they?
So the colors in the text, I believe that ties back to the colors that we use in our packets view. So which is something that you can set yourself. So
like
if we go back to packets,
should.
Right, we'll just freeze it for a minute. So you can see, right, we've set, in our preferences, encrypted data is going to show up in that bluish kind of color up there, and beacons are going to show up in the blue-purple color, and so then we just bring that over into the other view.
Can you categorize them by control management data? Because you've got management with multiple colors.
You could set all of the management ones to the same color. If that's, I think that's what you're asking. We could certainly do that. Yeah.
Basically, every frame control type has its own.
You can make it its own color, but you could, and then maybe for some people, maybe even in general, that would make more sense. Just take all the management ones and make them a single color, so that they didn't stand out. But that's something that you can certainly tune. So the nodes view, and then we also have a flows view. So if we want to see all this traffic by flow instead, we can see, and all that's sortable. So we can, for our flows, we can go sort by bytes, come back across and see what the top flows are on the network, etc. So Compass, the whole idea behind Compass is to kind of direct us in the right direction, see who the top users are, see if anybody is coming to the top as being a top user. When we look at our top flows, it's pretty, it doesn't look like anyone is really coming to the top in any big way. If we go to nodes instead, probably the same kind of thing where, it's pretty evenly distributed. So it doesn't look like we have, any top users or any kind of real big issues with particular users on the network or particular types.
How are they all exactly 9.1%?
Where
On all the nodes, they're all exactly 9.1%.
I don't know. I've never seen that before, but I know the numbers don't lie.
That's amazingly.
It is amazingly uniform.
Yeah.
Even others.
Well, because it's the top 10, right? So you're going to get 10 nodes plus 1.
But they're all equally sharing the data.
No, those are just the node. Those are just the nodes. Right. So if you're only measuring 10 things, you're only going to get 10 slices. Right. Nothing in there says that it's actually measuring.
Oh, it's
the
not
data.
the top 10 by size. It's just
It's
who
just the
are
top
the
10.
top 10.
Right. Because
Okay.
we have a much longer list.
So we're
right?
on signal strength.
Oh, God. Yep. This is the one thing about Compass. Right. So we were on signal strength. So, right. Sorry about that. Let's go to megabits. Sorry. My error for not picking that up for you. So,
There we go.
if we go
Oh, yeah.
to a view that makes more sense from the driver, now it's a little bit different. I mean, and that's one of the, actually, in many ways, one of the neat things about Compass. It's really that flexible, right? But you need to keep, you need to keep paying attention to where you're at and what you're viewing up here, because what you're viewing up here changes everything down here. And it's easier every now and then to have those kind of questions come up, and you're like, oh, and then you realize it's a selection, a choice. But it makes for that reason.
Where would you see what your choice selection was? Is it?
It's right in the megabits.
That drop down up top there is what controls.
So you
the
just kind of
variability.
read max megabits, then that's what you're
And
filtering on.
So that, yeah, right. So so you'd be doing protocols based on megabits and nodes based on megabits, et cetera. Right. And I mean, some of the other neat things about Compass is, if you have a particular area that you want to zoom in on, you can just pause it for a second and then zoom in. Bring that area into a broader view. We're looking at a 10-second view. We can go in a little bit finer. Eventually we'll get down. There's a lot of data in here now, but eventually we'll get down to a smaller view, and what we'll see is the ability to go from a 10-second view into an even finer view. So we need to pick maybe one more of these, right? So
In real time, there's some limitations as to how far you can zoom in, but in a packet file, you can very easily zoom in and out all the way into the milliseconds. And we've actually made some enhancements to the UI so you can just use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out between milliseconds and other intervals.
So in wireless LAN, thank you.
Oops.
It was misbehaving. So one of the other views that in wireless that's very handy for people is this wireless LAN view, where we list from all the network names down to the BSSIDs and access points, and then the individual users. So this is where we get a view of everybody on the network and kind of what they're doing, right? What channel they're on, what encryption they're using, etc. Maybe one of the interesting things to do would be to if I can find a JMH guest and see how many of you actually got onto JMH guest. So, yeah, quite a few of you probably hopped on JMH guest, and that's probably most of these right here, the apples. So I'm sure that downstairs they're kind of wondering, hey, what happened to JMH guest? Why do we suddenly have so many users? Wireless LAN view is a great view for being able to see that. And that's the nice thing about multi-channel analysis. So with multi-channel analysis, we're getting one view across the entire network here in the room.
So you're showing us that the whole room basically is connected to that one Cisco AP?
Well, a lot of them are, yeah.
Well, it was. You've been capturing for a long time. Mine looks a whole lot different.
Oh, because you just started?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it will also kind of catch up. But I mean, this should be showing the current state of things. So one other area of multi-channel analysis that we're able to take advantage of with multi-channel analysis is roaming. So in roaming, and I'm actually going to open a file for this because it just makes it a little bit easier. In roaming, we have a little module, and they're down here on the left, right, by log, by node, by AP. We're actually able to track a user as they go from one AP to another or one channel to another. And these were just some test files, so the roaming times don't make sense. 31-second roaming times don't make sense. But some things that just were used for a test. But we're able to either categorize those by access point, or by node if we want to see a particular node, or get a log of all of the different roams that have gone on. If we want to zoom in on a roam, it's really quite easy. We can just double click on the roam, and then we'll bring those packets for just that roaming event into a separate window.
So that's all roaming events that have captured in the duration of your capture, regardless of channel, regardless of AP, regardless of anything.
Correct.
If something has roamed from one AP to another and it's been in your airspace while you've been on channel, it shows all roaming events.
That's correct.
So this one's showing just channel 4. Wouldn't it be like channel 4 and then channel 6
Something
or whatever
else.
as it moves?
It
triggered this roaming event?
It gets switched BSS IDs. So say it's on the same channel but went to a different access point.
So it went from A0 to D0 on the same channel.
And if they were
that would be a roam.
And if they were Maru, that would have been what happened.
Yeah.
All right, so
Actually, Maru would keep the same BSS ID.
Or I mean, if you just had two APs next to each other on channel 4, with the same.
Yeah.
right.
But why would you roam from 54 meg to 2 meg?
Well, roaming certainly results in some interesting analysis where you can then go and look in Compass and over time see the beacon signal strength for a particular node decrease over time, and then watch the signal strength go up as it reassociated with another AP. So this is really just the beginning where you ask those kinds of questions. And then there's, but it isn't necessarily the place where you'll be able to answer them. And then there will be other facilities, views within OmniPeak where you'd start looking at those statistics or go down into the individual packets.
Nobody said clients roam well.